Welcome to The Warehouse. Have you ever heard a sermon and thought, how in the world did he discover that? Or where did he get that idea? Every week at Cornerstone Church, two teams dig into the biblical text that'll be taught during our weekend services. We spend hours talking about the text, the context, the culture of the time, you name it. But you can't stuff all that into a 30-minute message. That's where we come in. We're going to show you the stuff in the warehouse that didn't make it to the stage. Hey, Jay, what's your least favorite chore? Well, Jay, I hate doing windows. Because windows, you think you've done great, and you go, and you look through it, and there's a streak. And so you go work again, and there's a streak somewhere else. I just thought of this icebreaker, and now I got myself all heated because I was going to say dusting, but then I just thought about windows and that streak.
Do you actually clean your windows? I don't think I've ever cleaned my windows.
Oh, wow.
When I do. It's not it's not a regular.
But have you ever heard of Norwex? Because they're window cloths.
I think you're thinking of Norway, the Scandinavian country.
Nope.
I don't like the feel of Norwex. Like anything that's like a microfibery texture, I cannot stand the feel of it.
But the window cloth is like phenomenal. I use it everywhere in my house.
Why would you guys make up a term just to come in here and razz me?
I'm just saying you should look it up. It's
Norwex.
Norwex? No.
Is that the sponsor of this week's episode?
Yeah.
You can't say it, but you're going to try to spell it?
No. I'm saying it, I think. But then the more you're saying it, I think it sounds wrong. And so...
Because it feels wrong, too. Hey, Stephanie, what's your least favorite chore?
Oh, laundry. For sure.
Why is that?
I hate laundry. It's the fact of I don't mind to fold it as much as it is to put it away. I don't enjoy putting it away. So that's when the children come in and they put it away.
Well, that's what... So all of our kids do their own.
Oh.
How many of your kids are to that point yet?
That's funny. They're all to that point probably besides Bennett, but none of them do their own laundry.
Oh, yeah. I do ours.
Really?
Rachel washes the stuff that don't go in the dryer because I always put that stuff in the dryer. So she's outlawed me from things that have to go in the dryer. But yeah, I do ours. The kids do theirs. And then our towels and stuff I'll throw in. And
Nope. I do it all. Except dishes is my favorite thing to do, though.
Why?
Because I normally listen to a podcast or something. And so and we don't have a dishwasher. I've never owned a dishwasher.
Yeah, the heating element's out on ours.
So you're the dishwasher
so we're hand
now?
dishing. We wash our own dishes, and then I'll take care of most of the... If I do most of the cooking, too, so I just wash what I use.
What a man.
Unless I'm tired, and then I'm like, I cooked and it was good, so you guys wash away.
Okay.
Yeah. So people, do your laundry out there. Stop making other people do it for you.
Are you talking to my kids? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't listen to this.
Hey, Nathan,
Well, actually,
what's your
they
least
kinda
favorite chore?
I think dishes probably. And just like with 5 kids, it just feels like the instant that it's done, you turn around and there's another pile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's similar with laundry, but I feel like laundry can stay kind of tucked away a little bit more, like hampers in
You get
closets.
a breather. You get a breather.
I can at least have a moment where I feel like, okay, it's done.
Yeah. Somebody's got clean underwear in this house they can wear.
Someone does.
Oh, man. We have Mount laundry right now going on at my house right now. It's bad.
But if you got
Ryland's away at camp.
And
so.
Sticking your hand in cold dishwater to grab
Yes.
after if it's been in there a long
Yes.
time?
Wait.
It's the worst.
You soak, you do soaking of the dishes?
Well, sometimes. But I mean, if it's been in there or anything cold in the sink, it's terrible.
No, I don't. I do hot water the whole entire time and just keep the water running the whole time I do dishes.
That's wasteful.
Speaking of chores.
You can do it.
I've got one more thing to say. Sorry.
Ooh.
My least favorite part about dishes.
Ooh, all right.
Besides I hate whenever you do stick your hand in there and you accidentally touch all this wet, soggy food.
Oh,
I think that texture is disgusting.
Oh. Even, I just ate it, but now it's wet. Get out of here with that.
Get out of here. But then, whenever it comes to drying and putting away dishes, I don't know why, but your Tupperware drawer or cabinet, however you do it, I don't know. There is no way to organize that that makes any kind of sense.
Because everything's different size.
Yes, it's been one of the most perpetual sources of strife in my marriage.
Yeah.
And there's very few things that T and I, get into it over, but and we still don't actually fight over that. But it's the one thing that I will be like, what is happening in this Tupperware drawer?
Where are all the lids and
where are the lids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And where did this lid come from where there is no Tupperware for this lid?
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
Or
No,
like I
it.
put food away in like a Pyrex container or something like that, and I'm like ready for the lid. I'm like, hey, where's the lid? She's like, oh, that one broke. I'm like, then why do we still have the container?
Then you cover it with aluminum foil
Yeah. Makes you want to have like just a one size fits all Tupperware.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of one size fits all, we're talking about the Lord's Prayer today. Yeah.
You did it.
Talking about the Lord's Prayer today in Matthew 6, verses 5 to 15. Mark this down, Parker. Jay finally did it. Matthew 6 starts out where we're going to touch on that. So that'll be next week's information.
Yes.
Because this week we're skipping ahead and just tackling where Jesus taught his disciples to pray. Matthew 6, 5 to 15. Hey, Nathan, what was your big idea this week?
Mine was kingdom people talk with their king.
Pretty
Nice.
good. Pretty
Thank
good.
Mine was, through our petitions, God intends to provide us with what he already knows we need.
Mm. Yeah, I like using petitions.
Mm-hmm.
Start the music, Parker. From worries large to details small, our Father wants to hear them all. No. That's a trumpet. That's a trumpet fanfare.
Oh, goodness.
You guys want to hear it? Oh, great. Thanks. I'll say it again. From worries large to details small, our Father wants to hear them all.
Didn't we
Oh, the
say
places
yesterday?
you'll go.
Yes, it makes us think of Dr. Seuss.
No. Not us. You.
No,
You're the
it
one who
wasn't
said
just,
Dr.
yeah.
Smith.
And me.
Somebody else said
And other
Longfellow,
people.
Shakespeare.
No. Parker said Shakespeare, I think, right?
Yeah, Longfellow.
And then we're like, no,
Keats.
it's more like
Okay.
Dr. Seuss
Okay.
than Shakespeare.
Hand,
Mhm.
fingers, thumb.
What?
One thumb, drumming on a drum.
What a not poetic critics around here.
All right, context. Who's
What you
got
got?
it? No, not me. I didn't have anything this week.
Wow.
I know. You're
Launch into it.
just
You just don't
launching
have
into it.
anything.
Somebody else has got to take
Gun
it.
and bear.
The only real thing that I had to add contextually to, because we're in like, the same historical context, the same literary context, all that. So I guess really the only thing would be the immediate context has changed because we've moved into 5 through 15. And so the first part, whenever we look at these as a whole, Jesus talks about like three things that were very central elements of the Jewish religion.
Here in chapter 6.
Yeah. And they're all in order that we might accidentally miss that if we're not paying attention. So he talks about almsgiving, so giving to the poor, prayer, and fasting. And those were like three significant pillars of their faith.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had just looked a little bit at what Jewish people, what their prayer lives would have been like during that time, because Jesus is coming and teaching his disciples a new way to pray. And I was wondering, well, wait, I thought about that it was a new way for ages, but was it a new way to pray? And just looking at some of them and spurred on, I mentioned yesterday, spurred on because Rachel and I have been watching The Chosen recently and finished up season 3 of it, waiting patiently for season 4. And and I was intrigued by the prayers that Jesus, the character of Jesus, was praying in the episodes when he would wake up, when he'd go to bed, before their meals. And it was just really interesting looking into, because they have daily official prayers, and then just throughout the day, they had smaller ones, even before eating. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. And while it's not if your family prays before a meal, we usually go longer than that, and we get specific, and most of us will add, may this food, bless our bodies for your service or something. Families have prayed that forever, but.
So whenever you were talking about that yesterday, it made me think of whenever we did, Passover meal.
Oh yeah.
We would recite that before each part. And then just neat.
Very.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Anything else? Anything else pop up in your head as we've been talking? Well, then let's dive in. Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 to 15. You want to do the same divisions we had yesterday? We kind of went a couple verses at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That work for you?
Mm-hmm.
So verses 5 and 6, and when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who's in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you.
Mm-hmm. So opening it up, and it's tying it to the almsgiving that was talked about just previous. So he's tying it into that same context of these central pillars of their religion. And when you pray, so again, as you just talked about, this is not a, hey guys, you need to pray more, but this is it's already built into their daily rhythms.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too, that just, I need to get some kind of affiliate link to the Chosen series.
Wow.
Some kind of sponsorship thing, because I'm mentioning it a whole lot. But that's one of the things too, is just seeing that the characters in their daily lives, and I know it's not accurate all the way, but seeing the repetition of their prayers throughout their daily lives was really eye-opening for me.
It was at least 3 times every day, right? So at least a morning, noon, and evening prayer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was typically gathered, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there'd be, and that was something that was fascinating to me. I was reading, I think that was in Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools, where he talked about this. They had rhythms of being together for their for those 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So whenever we read through the New Testament, we're like, man, how do they how are they practicing the one another's and stuff as a church, and how are they supposed to do this every time they see? It's like they're literally seeing each other 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like quite the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That old cliche, doing life together.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
Yeah.
For them, that's what they did. They went through life together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I could get on board with. If any of you guys want to start that, let's do it.
Yeah.
3
Do
times a day.
What time do you guys wake up?
I wake up at 4:30.
Veto.
I get up at 6.
5:45ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like clockwork. It's the worst, even on Saturdays. Is that so? And in verse 5, is that what made you think to look at the bigger context of chapter 6?
Yeah.
Seeing what the and connected to?
Yeah.
Because we know you love ands.
That's what everybody says about me, and nothing else about any other connectives.
All they say.
One time.
Yeah.
So the hypocrites. So during Jesus' day, the word mainly meant the idea of the actor on the stage playing a part. And so not necessarily like illicit or negative intent toward being a hypocrite per se. Portraying something you're not was the main thrust of it. So the context would determine whether or not it was negative.
Yeah, I had it that it was one who was seeking like personal recognition. So.
And so that would be a contextual usage of it, right? So it, like the way that they would use it at that time would be more the actor, but the way that we understand it here would be that they're seeking. So the reason he's calling them hypocrites, we get from the context. Right,
because he's not downplaying and saying that you shouldn't be praying with other people here. He's saying like, hey, don't be like them and doing it for show.
Yep. I had down that this word hypocrites was used 17 times in the Bible. 13 of those times were in Matthew.
Oh, wow.
So Matthew uses hypocrite a lot. And 7 of those referred directly to the scribes and Pharisees. So we read this, and because we've read the rest of the book of Matthew, we immediately jump to the scribes and Pharisees. And they would be, Jesus is obviously talking about them because they're probably the ones who are doing this. But not everybody would have necessarily made that connection at this point that he's talking about the scribes and Pharisees, because he's not actually, to this point in Matthew, he's not actually called the Pharisees and scribes.
Right.
Yeah, he hasn't really been confronting them per se as outwardly and aggressively.
It really ramps up later on in the book where like here in just a couple of chapters, it's like every time he calls somebody hypocrite, he's talking to the scribes and Pharisees.
Yeah, but also maybe he's not talking about them per se, but boy, the scribes and Pharisees, they impacted a lot of people. And so people would have looked to them, trying to emulate them, thinking that they were the ones following God rightly.
Yeah.
Boy, man, that didn't click yesterday when you were talking about that. But man, it sure makes me wonder now. Whew, how many people love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, for the same reasons the Pharisees did, because they were impacted by them and didn't really know any better.
Yeah. And I thought one of the things I thought was interesting, like with the tie to acting, we typically think of it like we typically associate it with the like, hey, I pretend to be one thing, but I'm actually another. But it's like also could be just referring to the fact that they saw the world as their stage.
Oh.
So not like that they're performing.
Yeah.
So not even inferring like duplicity or whatever, but it's like, but it's specifically talking about the fact that I'm performing. I'm doing this for other people, which I think fits really well the context.
Yeah. Very cool. What else in verse 5?
So
At the street corners, you mentioned something about street corners yesterday as well, didn't you?
I did not.
I thought one of you guys did. So the synagogues we get, because that's where they would have met. To worship and pray. And street corner, is that just a picture of being out around people, out in daily life, you think?
I don't remember. Parker, was it you that said that yesterday? Talked about like street corners, like if you were far enough away or whatever, or the time, the bell rings, or I don't know how they actually marked the time, but if you couldn't make it to the synagogue, then you stopped at whatever street corner you could make it to. And so I thought that was an interesting contextual historical piece.
Same. Even without a mic, he impacts us.
Yeah. And so the imperative here, the command is actually, you must not be like the hypocrites. And then he gives like, for they love to stand and pray at the synagogues and street corners. And then he talks about why they love to pray and why they love to stand and pray. And so the problem here is not their posture.
Right.
It's not the fact that they're standing. Like throughout Scripture, we see standing, kneeling, sitting, laying down.
Yeah.
And so the posture is not the issue. And even praying out loud is not the issue. The problem is that they want it so that they may be seen by others.
Yeah, that's such a big part within that text in the middle of verse 5 there. It's saying that they may be seen by others. And then he's saying, truly, I say to you, they have received their reward, which for them is like, there is no reward from God for those who seek the approval of men. And that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Which is just like such a terrible situation, right? Like the reason we should be praying is because we want to receive something from God.
I had somehow some of mine got cut off.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You didn't read it yesterday.
Read verse. Did I miss anything in 6? Read verse 5, would you, Stephanie?
Sure. And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward.
Thank you. That got deleted. I don't know how that got deleted on my sheet.
It's one of the.
Thank you.
It's one of the perpetual concerns I have about like doing Bible study in a living Word document.
Yeah,
I'm like, what if I delete a verse?
You check mark it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. I knew we talked about that and I knew it was there, but I was trying to look for it and it was not on my doc. But thank you.
Yeah.
That they may be seen by others.
Yep.
Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. That's the same phrase he used about in verse 2, talking about giving alms, sounding a trumpet when you give to the needy. That's the reward that they got. He says it in verse 16, talking about fasting and how they disfigure their faces while they fast. Being seen by others for them seems to be greater than the idea of being seen by the Father. So repeated in all of the subjects you drew together there.
Yeah. It just seems so interesting because it's like they get exactly what they want, right? So their reward that they receive is the accolades of people, the recognition. People look on and say, wow, you're super holy. And they get that. But they're missing out on like the much better reward, which is that the Father sees them and rewards them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I will have to say, like, I've fallen into this before. Whenever I've been praying for someone, I'm like, man, I hope they think I did a good enough job for them. And it's like, God doesn't want us to get it perfect.
Yeah. Or even, I hope I say the right things to make God, so that God works on their behalf, or God heals, or as if our words or our tone or our emotive moves of our voice, will affect what goes on.
One of the very practical ways that this plays out for me is whenever we're praying, like as a staff or something, you have those people who are very vocal in the way that they agree with people. So you're praying and they're like, yes, amen. Yes, Lord, do that and stuff.
I'm that person.
Dustin and me.
Yeah. Especially you and Dustin. Especially you and Dustin. And so like,
especially you and Dustin.
Okay.
I mean, you're not the only two.
Yeah.
I do it sometimes.
Madison does it too. I do it. It's
Well,
fine.
there's no need to name names, Stephanie.
Okay.
But so, confession moment. I mean, like, it's easy for me to accidentally switch into a mode of like gauging how good my prayer is going based on like how much people are saying, yes, Lord.
Yes. Holy cow. That just made me think. I have thought several times over the years, this prayer must not be doing much because nobody's
saying anything.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we can all fall into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So when you hear Nathan or Stephanie or Jay praying, please add in some yes, Lords.
Please
don't just stay silent.
Yeah.
It makes us doubt ourselves.
Yeah. We need it.
And truly I say to you, they have received their reward.
That'll be our reward.
Okay, so verse 6, are we good to move on? Okay. But when you pray, go into your room. I loved how Parker pointed out yesterday this could have been a hyperbole. What?
Here, Parker again.
Yeah. Parker's great. But you were like even talking a little bit more into depth about that yesterday. And I was like, that's actually really good. And I didn't think about that being.
So Parker's point of it being hyperbole was?
That it's not something he's saying for you to always go and do, to just not pray with other people and to just go into your room. He's saying.
Like juxtaposing them being on the street corner. No, you go to your room. So
you go to your room.
Get to your room if you're going to pray.
But I do think there's some intention behind it, though. Like with us being able to go and be in a moment of silence and solitude with the Lord, there's definitely some benefits from that.
And not just, so the idea there, not just go in your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who's in secret. That unlike, so their hearts want to be seen and heard by everyone, and our hearts should be that we just want to be seen and heard by the Father.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I'd never really, like, I'd assumed that this go into your room and shut the door was like literal, and it was always a little confusing for me. Like, and it's where we get a lot of like prayer closet kind of, actual practical outworking.
A couple of years ago, there's a movie called War Room or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah. But then like whenever you put it in the context, you see that like previously he said, when you give to the needy, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Like that's hyperbole. So he's in that contrast, he's talking about like, hey, there's these guys who are giving because they want to be seen by everybody, but instead they should be doing it in such a secretive way that their hands barely even know what the other one's doing. And so that's like hyperbole. And then this one, it makes a lot of sense that he'd be saying, hey, you've been standing out like as public and as loud as you can be because you care what people think. Do it in such a way that like no one would ever know that you were praying.
And also, I know this is like more big picture, but he's talking about the you singular. But then as we move down to verse 10, it becomes more of adding other people within to that prayer.
Yeah. And then again, like this carries out into the fasting one. So the, basically he talks about, fasting in such a way that no one would ever know if you were fasting. And so it's like, if you take that literally, it's like, I should never, if someone asks what I'm doing for lunch, like I have to make up something because I cannot tell them that I'm fasting. But that's not what he's after either. He's after a heart posture here, just like he has been throughout the whole Sermon on the Mount.
Right. Yeah. It's not, so they disfigure their faces when they're fasting. So we just act normal.
Yeah.
Just be cool, man.
Just be cool.
It's really hard for me, guys.
Do it.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah.
And your Father who sees in secret will reward you.
Yeah, so I saw that as a promise yesterday whenever I was just reading it. Like, so we know what the reward is, but then at the same time, I think yesterday we were just talking about, is this talking about the eternal reward? Is this talking about blessings that we'll receive here on earth? But regardless, we know that there's a reward for
so that answer was
having a
yes.
good conversation. Yes and yes.
Yeah, is it that or that? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. And I think this is just one of the like really comforting truths of our faith is that like God is omniscient, so all knowing, and that he's omnipresent, that he's everywhere. And so that idea that he sees, like that not even a sparrow can fall from the sky or whatever without him knowing, that he knows the hairs on our head. It's like, what a comforting thing to think that like we don't, that he sees what happens, like even internal prayers for us, like even stuff that doesn't actually escape our mouths. Like he knows those cries of our hearts and he rewards that. I just think is a massive reason to pray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Anything else for 6? Well, then 7 and 8. Let me know if I have deleted things from 7 and 8 before we get there.
Okay.
And when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Heap up empty phrases? So I just spent some time looking at different versions and what different English translations have made out of this, and I liked them all. So the NIV says, do not keep on babbling like pagans. I think we said that'd be a great band name.
Babbling like pagans?
Yeah.
I don't
Great
remember
band
that.
The CSB said, don't babble like the Gentiles. And the NASB, that old, reliable NASB, said, do not use thoughtless repetition as the Gentiles do. I thought those were cool variations.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I never thought about before that babbling is onomatopoeia. So like it's one that like intentionally the word, it sounds like what it's describing.
Yeah.
So if I'm just saying nonsense, it sounds like that's what babble sounds like. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
It doesn't really impact things very much.
But that is interesting because its source is Babylon. Wow.
Whoa.
And yet it's an onomatopoeia. Whoa.
That's so cool.
Whoa.
Okay. Wait, no. Tower of Babel? But that's not Babel.
I don't know what we're saying right now.
Okay. Keep going.
Is it source Babylon?
That's what Tim Mackey said in an episode of the Bible Project.
Is the Tower of Babel Babylon? No. I know.
It was Tim Mackey. It wasn't Jay.
Sorry, we can keep going.
Anyway.
So yeah, just
you
like
didn't
how
say it yesterday, so we didn't get to fact check yet. What were you gonna say?
So I was just gonna say again, like the heartfelt. He's asking and encouraging us for the heartfelt, our heart posture, and what we're doing here. He's not wanting us to have mindless, empty words to him.
Yep. And what's the historical context for this? So, because as the Gentiles do, there's some kind of historical frame that he has that he's tying this to that we don't have. Like if I looked at one of you guys and said, "Hey, don't babble like the Gentiles do," you'd have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
So there's some kind of framing that he has.
I think Parker talked about it yesterday a little bit. That's his third shot.
Yeah,
wow,
or
Man,
4 at least.
Yeah, he's doing
Influential
good
guy over
today,
here.
man. But wasn't it, Parker? You said that the Gentiles would talk to the pagan gods and just like constantly just keep repeating words and saying the things over and over again and try to use.
He's talking about the Greek and Roman pantheon of all the gods and trying to get their attention because they didn't care about people.
Right.
That was one of the things, the regular ideas about especially the Greek gods. I assume the Romans as well.
I don't know.
Greek
is that
gods,
they were just
Roman gods.
that they were just totally indifferent to the people.
Was that your classical conversation, CD? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
There's a homeschool nerd moment.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, so I think of like, and this would not have been, period appropriate, but like, I think about like the prophets to Baal in the like contest on Mount Carmel, and like how they danced around and cut themselves and shouted for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to get the attention of Baal. And where Elijah just says like, hey, maybe he's on the pot, like, you know, do it a little bit, like scream louder. Maybe he can't hear you.
Yeah.
And that's legitimately the way they thought about their gods, that they're disinterested in humanity.
Wow.
They can barely be bothered.
Yeah.
And
so
so you
babbling-
got to make enough noise.
Yeah, we got to get their attention.
Yep. So if I-
Like a kid, like a little kid. Say, dad, 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 dad.
or I've got a little 3-pound Yorkie. Her name is Shadow. She's like 12 years old. She has no teeth anymore. Her
So
her
cute.
tongue hangs out of her mouth. And
Sideways.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And anyway, in the morning, she always like wants to get up whenever T and I are having coffee, and she'll just start yipping. And it's just like we will deal with it for as long as we can until one or the other of us will get up and go let her outside. And I think it's a similar expectation for these pagans or Gentiles.
Yeah.
Like, if you
'Cause their
make
gods
enough
are just-
noise for long enough, the gods have to pay attention.
Yeah. Because they're just off having their coffee and reading their newspapers. So the original derivation of the name Babel is also the Hebrew name for Babylon.
Okay.
That's exactly what I said. Check the tape.
Where's that from?
Wikipedia.
What's a tape, Jay? I'm just kidding. I'm not that young.
That one stung.
Yeah.
If you also remember what a tape is, email us.
Oh, hold on. We have to do a really quick shout out. Emmy sent us a video, a voice memo of her singing to us this week.
Yeah.
Did she?
Uh,
Why did you guys not send this to
I
me?
totally-
I want to hear Emmy sing.
She just sent it to me and Jay.
Yeah, it slipped my mind.
Oh, Emmy.
It was so good.
We'll meet in the middle. Eat that
Yes.
old Georgia pine.
She did so good.
Because I didn't know the song,
Yeah.
probably. That's why I wasn't included. I'm going to
Yeah.
pretend it's that and not that you are her two favorite podcasters.
Right. I was at a swim meet and I listened. I was like, yeah, singing it with her. You know, it was
Yes. So so the first tape you ever bought, tape listeners, send us another.
Yeah. So I think something that's important here, and again, we understand. So he says, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do. And if we're careful, if we're not careful, we can end up thinking like, okay, empty phrases. So that means like, I got to make sure that each one of my things I say to God is meaningful and that I'm saying the right things
Right.
because he doesn't want to hear empty things. And we can only like rightly understand what he's talking about there whenever we see what he contrasts it with, which is they think that they will be heard by their many words. The problem is not that the things that they were saying like were not meaningful and poignant or good enough. The problem is that they thought that they would be heard by their by how many words they said.
Because of, yeah.
They thought that they needed to get the God's attention.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't. So anyway, and then again, we see the contrast with in verse 8, don't be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Look at the different, like the intense contrast between gods that will only pay attention to you if you make enough noise and talk for loud enough. And then if you're lucky, they'll pay attention versus a Father who instinctively knows what you need better than you know it.
So 5 and 6, he's targeting Jewish hypocrites. And now 7 and 8, he's targeting Gentile pagans.
So there are two primary like contextual influences for prayer.
Their entire worldview at the time was we either pray like these guys or pray like these guys. And here Jesus says, but there's another way.
Right.
Oh, man.
So I know there's been people who struggle with verse 8, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him, like where they ask themselves, so why do I even pray? Why do I need to pray if he already knows what I need before I ask him?
Yeah.
Easiest answer, I think, is because Jesus prayed and Jesus taught us to pray. And
That's
Jesus told us to pray.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing like we deal with anytime we come up to questions of like God's sovereignty and human responsibility, right? So it's like if God is in control, he can do whatever he wants, then why the heck would I ever ask him for anything? And it comes down to like the way that he is ordained to accomplish his will in the world is through a partnership with mankind. So like he's chosen that like by praying that we would actually really influence the future. That there are things that theoretically he wouldn't do if we didn't ask him. But he's ordained that the way that he wants to get it done is by us asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a quote from Augustine that said, God does not ask us to tell him our needs that he may learn about them, but in order that we may be capable of receiving what he is preparing to give.
Yeah.
Do you say Augustine?
I do say Augustine.
Saint Augustine?
Okay. Just making sure.
I probably also say Augustine.
Augustine.
I'm trying to make it consistent, but it's sometimes a data situation. for me.
Data, Caribbean.
That one I'm consistent with. I only say, oh man, I said that. Now I'm now like, which one? I only say Caribbean if I'm talking about the movies.
When Jack
Pirates.
Sparrow's involved.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anything else for verse 8? Okay. Anything else for verse 8?
How about 9 and 10?
Okay.
Pray then like this: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Did anybody else just keep reading it in their head or saying it?
I almost said hallowed because used to be old school high
breaking
church.
out the
What is
KJV.
Yeah, almost did some
Hallowed.
who
instead of
art
hallowed.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
We're not there yet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hallowed be your name. Again, the CSB, the Christian Standard Bible.
Yes.
Your name be honored as holy. I kind of like that. Partly because it kind of breaks up my mental repetition because especially like the Lord's Prayer, you haven't just read it for years. We've also those of us who did it every week in church, we repeat it and we lose the meaning of it. But here, breaking that up with our Father in heaven, your name be honored as holy.
Yeah.
Meant a whole lot to me as I read that.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good way that CSB put that, because whenever it's almost how I read it is we're asking for his name to be holy. Here, hallowed be your name. But that's not what it's meaning. It's meaning his name is holy.
Yeah.
So I liked the CSB version on that.
Yeah. I think it's like, that's kind of what, so it's not that if you use ESV or whatever that it's wrong that it says hallowed, but it's like it helps us understand the meaning of that word, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's it mean to say hallowed? I can't decide which way I'm saying it now. Data. Caribbean. Hallowed be your name. So like what you're actually asking is, like you said, that his name would be revered and honored. And
I like, and I've kind of come to a place, even when we're talking about how different words in the Hebrew and Greek can be used for the words that the translators use. I kind of been looking at more like increasing the palate, like adding more spice into a dish that, this and that word also means this, and it kind of increases the taste of it, increases the enjoyment of the words that were used in the Bible, and here too. That hallowed be your name is it's a very right way to translate the passage, but also your name be honored as holy is also right, and a very cool addition to my thinking about that verse. Yeah,
and another thing that I kind of grabbed onto yesterday is I've always read this as our Father in heaven. Like, so Jesus was making brothership with us. Where he was saying like, he's our Father, not just your Father, he's our Father. But yesterday, Nathan, you kind of was like, no, like, let's talk about this in the context and what that means. He's giving an example of how you are to pray. So yes, where that is biblically true, that we do share with him in this, but it's not also, that's not what he was saying in this particular part.
Yeah. And that's because he's not saying, let's pray like this, our Father in heaven, but it's a command to a particular group. He's saying, you should pray like this, our Father in heaven. And that does get a little more important whenever we get down to like, forgive us our debts and stuff, because you could end up accidentally calling into question, like, did Jesus, have something to be forgiven for?
But because we know he was always debt free. He was following that Ramsey plan before Ramsey was thought of. Anything else? Verse 10? Anything in verse 10?
Oh, well, I was...
More 9?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry. But So where the Father is showing like his fatherhood, it gives us more of a personal relationship with him. And then heaven, where that's his like divineness, and that's where it's showing. So combining those together, the relationship aspect.
What's another way to say divineness?
No, I like divineness.
Divineness? Okay.
Or
Divinity might work.
yeah, but I like divineness.
Divineness.
If it's Stephanie,
It avoids the confusion with that like Christmas candy that's
Now I'm going to make some divineness this holiday season.
I add ness to the end of everything. You guys know this about me.
Yeah, so you're talking about like our Father in heaven has both aspects of it there, right? So the intimacy and the transcendence.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and that kind of harkens back to the Jewish prayers at the time, because most of the time they would pray, "Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe." Not much about a familial relationship in those prayers. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who forms light and creates darkness, who makes peace and creates all things. Blessed are you, Lord, who forms light. That'd be their first prayer of the day. There's nothing about Father.
Right. But it's covering it up, like the in heaven part is talking about his great ultimate authority and how he deserves our worship still.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, unique. Christianity is unique among the religions of having our God be the one who is so close that he's Father and so great that he is King of the universe.
Yeah.
The single King of the universe.
Yeah.
Love it.
9 and 10. Anything else? Kingdom come. We'll be done.
So the Father aspect of it, like one of the questions I had was like, hey, is this revolutionary to them?
Right.
And so I just like jotted a note, like, is this common? Is this like something that would have blown their mind? And so doing some research, D.A. Carson did some great work on this in his Matthew commentary, and he said that the fatherhood of God is not a central theme in the Old Testament. So where father does occur with respect to God is commonly by way of analogy, not direct address. So saying like God is like a father to Israel or whatever, but like they did not, refer to him as their father. They did not talk directly, at least commonly.
Wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that like, I don't think I could say that, that Jesus is the first one to ever do this or whatever, but he definitely is talking in a way that's more familiar than they were comfortable with.
Yeah, definitely.
And then your kingdom come, your will be done. Again, Tyler Staton, and I should back up for just a second and say this. Jesus introduces this with pray then like this. So it's not just pray this prayer. It's not just verbatim, make sure you say these words all the time, but he's giving us a model for prayer, and that's quite the gift. And so throughout church history, a lot of church fathers, Luther was a very popular one. And then more recently, I read Tyler Staton's book. Tim Keller had a book on prayer that also follows the Lord's Prayer. And so we should see this as a model that kind of shapes the kinds of things we should be asking about. And Tyler Staton talked about this, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, as like a moment of intercession where we recognize that we're standing between heaven and earth and asking God to let like the things that he wants to be done. We're inviting that into our space, which I just think is a cool picture. Like when you're praying for your kids, when you're praying for a friend, when you're praying for healing, you're saying your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Anyway, I just thought that was neat.
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking and processing a little bit of what you were saying. So like inviting God to help us grow initially, to help us grow the kingdom too. Would you say that as well?
So it'd be like
all the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd read, I'm trying to remember all the different options, but they talked about like more full expression of his kingdom as it is. It's also like anticipating the day in the future, whenever we look forward to the return of Christ and whenever his kingdom is fully implemented. There's also an element of volition with this. Like if we're going to say, God, let your kingdom come, we know that like that we are the agents that he brings it, to pass through. So we're saying like, whatever you want done as part of your kingdom, like I will do it. I am your servant. So yeah, it's multifaceted.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Also in this first part, I don't know if we talked about this, but we've got the first 2 verses. We've got your name, your kingdom, and your will. So all those are all focused on orientation to God. And then in the second part, we turn toward give us, forgive us, lead us.
Switching to ourselves. 11, 12, and 13. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another way to say verse 11, give us our bread for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Give us this day our bread for tomorrow.
Another way that I'd read that, because there's like confusion between people, like, should it be the bread for tomorrow? Should it be the bread for today? And it's kind of both. Like Carson talks about that it can be either one. So like maybe a helpful way is to think like, give us each day the bread that we need that day. So it's just talking about like daily provision, like the normal everyday stuff that we need. Whether it's talking about one day in the future or just the present day.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Jesus wasn't praying this prayer or telling us to pray this prayer as he prays it, because verse 12, forgive us our debts as we've also forgiven our debtors.
Mm-hmm.
He was debt free.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, like throughout the whole thing, so they're divided up into 3 petitions.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 is the hallowed be your name, so his name, and then your kingdom, which is his reign, and your will be done, which is his will. And then the second 3 is provision, pardon, and protection. And so we see his provision here with daily bread, and forgiving us our debts is the pardon, and then lead us not into temptation is the protection.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I really liked that yesterday whenever I was like, oh, that's really neat. It's divided up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So God first, then us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We talked some about like, I think this give us this day our daily bread is it's a little bit removed from our social situation for most of us. And so it can be a little difficult because they were literally like, they didn't have, a lot of the working class did not have like stockpiles of food and stuff where they could go to their pantry and stuff. It was like, they worked today to buy the bread that they needed for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're sick, then they're not bringing bread home. And if they're sick for a few days, then they're in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was a very like literal physical request for them of like, Lord, provide for us. And I just think like that daily dependence on God might have been a little bit easier for them to grasp than for us to like really get our heads around in a much more abundant culture. Yeah. So anyway, I just think that's important.
Yeah, whenever you put it in that type of framework, though, it helps us see that like every single day he was able to provide, and he does provide for us.
Mm-hmm.
When we always like here within American culture, we can't think about what it's like to go without food for one day or whatever, or water or whatever it may be. But yet God has always provided for his people. And so.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember. I think Jay, maybe you tied it to manna in the wilderness, but that's a cool
it's a good picture that they could only gather enough for the day, except on Friday before the Sabbath. But anything left over after the day, it went bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the necessities of life that he constantly just provides for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think like this goes into application territory a little bit too, but it's like, I think ask God for the small things too. So if your kingdom come, your will be done is the big stuff, like ask God for the small stuff.
Yeah.
Like and I think part of what happens, and Staten talks about this in that book as well, is like, whenever we ask for the small stuff, we appreciate it whenever it happens. Whereas otherwise we kind of take it for granted and assume that we're going to have like what we need for the day without recognizing that like, God is the source and provider of our daily bread. It's not our job. It's not our retirement. It's not, our security.
And too, I think we kind of view God on this spectrum between King of the universe and Father. And so many of us will go further down the scale toward viewing God as the King of the universe. And so why would the King of the universe be bothered to worry about my daily bread? This what I think
very
is an
menial thing. Yeah.
I think it's insignificant. So why would the King of the universe think it's significant for me to pray for it? And we tend to functionally live like we don't believe that he is our Father.
Right.
That he's a good dad who loves us and wants to know about the daily bread that we're struggling with.
I think we can also be just like, we can buy into the lie that we should be self-sufficient, that we should not be dependent on anyone.
Yeah.
And so the idea like, no, I'm responsible for my daily bread.
Right.
God can come through on the big things, but like, if I don't have daily bread, that's on me. And so just the dependence on God.
I think we've said it so many times though, like God cares about the little things and the big things. Like he wants us to bring it all to him. And I can't remember who it was that talked about it yesterday, but like as our children, we want them to constantly come to us with the big things and the little things, no matter the happy, huge surprises that they may share with us, or if they scrape their knee just a tiny bit, we want to know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think I might be past that point with 5 kids.
Yeah. You know where the Band-Aids are, kid.
Yeah. I mean, the number of times they walk out there and they're like showing me like some kind of minuscule scrape that I can't even see on their finger. And I mean, I do love them and stuff, but after a while I'm like, go to bed.
Not as much as God loves his children.
Probably
Right.
not. Just an evidence that God's a better dad than I am.
That's right.
Verse,
He's a good dad.
he is.
dad.
Verse 12. Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're there. We've been there.
We have?
Hmm?
Kind of? Or we've really,
we haven't
really...
talked about this one yet.
Oh,
really.
okay. See? I thought you meant like we talked about it and I did what I did and I like zoned out on what you were talking about.
Do you have something you want to say about it?
I was just going to say we are asking God to forgive us as we forgive others. So here, like if you're not forgiving people, then why do you expect God to forgive you?
Mm. Oh, yeah. How many of us still, even after Nick talking about anger and TiVo talking about that word that just left my head, not resolutions.
Oh,
Resentment.
Resolving?
No, resentment.
Is it resentment?
Yeah.
Man.
Isn't
I
it?
totally went blank.
yeah. And so
Retaliation.
There it is.
Love your enemies in retaliation.
Retaliation.
Not resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
think-
could,
yeah, I think, so I think a great place to reference for this would be Matthew 18, whenever Jesus tells the story of the unforgiving servant. And it's just such a powerful image of like how ridiculous it is for us to hold on to unforgiveness whenever like it's impossible, whenever we realize that how much we've actually been forgiven. So if we're like, if we are unforgiving, we need to spend some time thinking about like how much God has forgiven us.
I'm bringing it back to Nick's sermon, but whenever he was talking about how we tend to make people a problem instead of making them a person, like when we dehumanize them, I was like, man, that is so true when we stop viewing them as one of God's creation or like in the image of God.
Yeah.
That was good.
This lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I think is an interesting phrase because the lead us not into temptation. We have a promise in James 1:2 that God does not tempt anyone. And he is also himself not tempted to sin. But I felt like we landed in a good spot with it yesterday that felt pretty clear.
Yeah.
Jay, I think you had a good explanation of that.
Oh, so yeah, if we're thinking that God is directing our paths, we're asking him to direct it around temptation. That if he is the sovereign one, then he sends us places where we will be tempted by the evil one. But at the same time, here is this prayer of, God, please lead me around that place. Don't let me see that end cap in the grocery store that's full of Doritos. Take me around to the broccoli side because that does not tempt me.
And yeah, I think that's good. So he can do it by like not allowing us to go to the spot where we'd be tempted. So that it can mean that like, even though we know that it will happen sometimes, we are still asking that like we wouldn't be put in a spot where we could fall.
Yeah.
And then also I think we should see like from this that the thing that he contrasts it with, so don't do this, but instead do this, deliver us from evil or from the evil one. I think there's also a way of understanding it that is like, and whenever we do end up in that spot, don't let us fall to sin.
Right.
Like deliver us from the evil one, protect us from our own vices and our own sinful nature, like which we do have that promise in scripture that God will not allow us to be, he always provides a way out of temptation.
Yeah. Carson put it So lead us not into temptation, but away from it into righteousness, into situations where far from being tempted, we will be protected and therefore kept righteous. As the second clause of this petition expresses it, we will then be delivered from the evil one. That's how Carson put it.
DA. All right. Anything else for 11 through 13?
No.
Well, let's bring it on home. 14 and 15. For if you forgive others their trespasses, had a minute. Nathan just put his head down, and I thought he was fainting. I thought you were going out.
Did you really?
I really did, and
Wow.
so I was getting ready to jump over the table.
That'd be totally unprecedented because I've never fainted in my life. It's not true. I've fainted a lot, and usually has to do with needles. But I'm not going to tell that story on. On
Well,
air.
so you just told a story of recently fainting, and so that was probably in
Yes.
my head. And it
was just Monday.
Put your head down, so like it was like a slow.
It could have been happening.
I thought you were going out. Let's try that again. So forgive me my trespass, please.
I forgive you.
Thanks, man.
So my Heavenly Father forgives me.
For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was just kind of repeating again, verse 12, just explaining it more and like making it even louder. Like, hey, if you didn't get it the first time, I'm going to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's the part that he repeated, that Jesus like reiterated and went back and kind of did a little explanation more. That's interesting. And also, again, the CSB talked about forgiving others their offenses. Sometimes, trespasses, what in the world is a trespass? So offenses, wrongdoings. The NIV even brought in when people sin against you. So kind of, again, filling out what is a trespass.
Yeah. Yeah. So with this, I mean, he's doing an aside that's explaining verse 12. This is not still part of the Lord's Prayer. This is him going ahead and addressing and talking about it. Again, Matthew 18, 21 through 35, great story that talks about this. I had a quote from John Stott that I really liked, where he said, "Once our eyes have been opened to see the enormity of our offense against God, the injuries which others have done to us appear by comparison extremely trifling. If, on the other hand, we have an exaggerated view of the offenses of others, it proves that we have minimized our own." And so, like, I just think that way of understanding what he's talking about here, he's not saying, hey, you got to do this first. You got to forgive first so that you can be forgiven in like a salvific kind of way. But there is an element of like forgiven people forgive.
Yeah.
And if you are not forgiving, then you have to like start asking some questions like, do you really understand the truth of the gospel? Because forgiven people forgive.
Ooh,
That's good.
forgiven people forgive.
Never knew that. I'm just
Anything
kidding.
else in that section?
No.
Man, that's a good way to put a button on it. Forgiven people forgive. Nathan, what are you excited to hear?
I really like this as a model prayer. Like sometimes whenever I find myself kind of grasping at straws for like, what should I be praying for? This is where my mind goes. And so like just walking through really quickly, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. I always think of that as like just an address to God and recognizing that both he cares for me and he has the power to do something about it. And like just taking some time to worship, and then your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Like that orientation of my heart, like, God, I want your way on the world, not just mine. I want your way. Give us this day our daily bread. That's the space where I specifically petition God for my needs and the things and the needs in the lives of people around me, which is what most of us probably think about whenever we think about prayer, is like going and asking for the things, which is good, but it's not like all that prayer is. And then forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. That's a moment of confession. And lead us not into temptation. That's a prayer for, deliverance and God, protect me from sin today. And there's implied in that like, I don't want to sin. And if I have a way out, I'm going to like do my best to choose that.
Yeah.
And so like, just as a framing for how we should pray, I think it's really helpful.
I love that though, how you just easily put that in a way that you can comprehend it. That's good.
And so if you memorize this, like a lot of times what I will end up doing is I'll say, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. And then I'll just pause there and like talk with God about who he is and like spend a minute worshiping. And then your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And because it's like memorized, and a lot of us have it memorized. And if you don't, like take some time and memorize it. It's a good one to tuck away. It can kind of help shape up whenever you're not sure what you should be praying, whenever you're kind of a little bit grasping. Like I think it's a great framework.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not just a model prayer, but also a good prayer prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
That's good. What?
That's me. So how about you? What are you excited about?
That was that's what you're excited about.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you? I was going to end it with him.
I know.
I'm excited about that too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
No, I'm like, it's just.
Exclamation point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys.
I think, okay, so.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are exclamation
Echo
pointing
chamber.
mine and dittoing it, then I'm going to add another one. I think.
Do it.
So for the first two parts, so he gives two examples of the things that like we shouldn't be doing when we pray, and then one example of what we should. And with the don't, I think it can actually like it can give us a lot of peace about being able to pray whenever we understand them. To understand that like we shouldn't be doing it for show. We need to stop freaking out so much about what other people think about our prayers. I hope that there are some people who get some confidence to be able to pray in their small group or pray around the dinner table or pray with their spouse, pray with their kids. Because you don't need to be doing it for other people to see. And you know that like whenever you pray from a genuine spot, that God rewards that. Mm-hmm. And then secondarily, you feel like you don't need to like try to get God's attention, that you don't need to like shout and scream loud enough for God to pay attention to you and care about you, but that he sees every little thing that's going on in your world and he knows what you need. And so ask him because he delights in it. I just like hope that frames up prayer for some people.
I love that.
Man.
Another exclamation point for me, please.
Double exclamation point. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Y'all are the best, especially when you guys come and tell us how much you're enjoying it and laugh at us for the silly things that we say. Mm-hmm. It means a whole lot.
It really does.
When you send audio recordings of yourself singing songs to Jay and Stephanie, but not to me, it means a lot to Emmy.
Yeah, to us. So the next time you send voice memos, people, please send them to all of us. Or just Parker.
That's fair.
And Parker will listen. Guys, thanks. We will see you next time. Until then.
The warehouse is closed. Hey!
Even dropped an accent on there. Closed.
Closed. Okay, goodbye.
It's a closed warehouse. Now you're trespassing. Get out.